The Hollywood Blacklist, a dark chapter in Tinseltown's history that had a chilling effect on the careers of many talented artists. From 1947 to 1960, the Red Scare and McCarthyism led to a witch hunt, accusing individuals of communist ties or sympathies. Many were unfairly targeted, and their lives and careers were forever changed. Let's take a look at 7 artists whose careers were almost derailed by the Hollywood Blacklist. Charlie Chaplin, the legendary silent film actor and director, faced intense scrutiny from the US government due to his perceived leftist leanings and subversive film content. His movies, such as Modern Times, The Great Dictator, and Monsieur Verdoux, critiqued capitalist and industrial societies, earning him a reputation as a communist sympathizer. After donating to the Defense Fund for Dalton Trumbo and the Hollywood 10, the FBI compiled a staggering 2,000-page file on Chaplin. In 1952, his re-entry visa to the US was denied, and he was told to testify to his moral worth to regain the permit. Instead, Chaplin cut ties with America and focused on his European career. Except for a brief 1970 trip to collect an honorary Oscar, he never returned to the US, effectively ending his American career. This marked a significant turning point in Chaplin's life as he continued to create and thrive in Europe, but was forced to leave behind his American legacy. Orson Welles, the visionary filmmaker and radio personality, found himself under intense scrutiny by the FBI during the height of his career. Despite his immense creative contributions, the Bureau suspected him of being a communist sympathizer. This suspicion was fueled by his progressive political views and intensified after the release of Citizen Kane, a film widely seen as a scathing critique of media mogul William Randolph Hearst. The FBI labeled Citizen Kane a communist propaganda tool, and Welles was consequently added to their list of potential threats to national security. The paranoia of the era culminated in Welles being named in the infamous Red Channel's blacklist, forcing him into self-exile in Europe. Lena Horne, a trailblazing African-American performer, rose to fame in the 1940s with her stunning looks and silky voice, becoming a star of stage and screen. However, she faced institutional racism and joined activist groups, including those associated with communists, which led to her being blacklisted in 1950 after appearing in Red Channels. This ordeal forced her to focus on nightclub and cabaret performances for several years, during which she fought to clear her name by publicly denouncing communism and writing letters to prominent journalists and entertainment figures. Her efforts paid off, and by the late 1950s, she was back on TV variety shows and recording hit records, successfully rehabilitating her reputation. Despite this setback, Horne remained committed to activism. Participating in civil rights protests during the 1960s, she proved to be a resilient and unapologetic advocate for her community, using her platform to bring about change. Dalton Trumbo, a renowned screenwriter, was a key figure in the Blacklist era, which began in 1947 when he and 9 other filmmakers, known as the Hollywood 10, were questioned by the House Un-American Activities Committee (HUAC) about their alleged ties to the Communist Party. Trumbo, a former party member, refused to answer the committee's questions, challenging its legitimacy, and was subsequently charged with contempt of Congress, blacklisted by Hollywood studios, and sentenced to a year in prison. After his release, he was forced to write under pseudonyms and sell his scripts on the black market, but still managed to pen several classic screenplays, including Gun Crazy and The Brave One, which earned him 2 Academy Awards that he couldn't collect. Trumbo's blacklist era finally ended in 1960 when Otto Preminger and Kirk Douglas announced that he would receive writing credit for Exodus and Spartacus. He resumed his Hollywood career, and in 2011, the Writers Guild of America belatedly credited him with the Oscar-winning script for Roman Holiday. Lee Grant's promising Hollywood career was abruptly derailed in 1951 after she publicly criticized the HUAC investigations at the funeral of blacklisted actor J. Edward Bromberg, despite never being involved in communist politics. Her comments caught attention, and she soon found herself blacklisted. Summoned to appear before HUAC, Grant was pressured to out her husband as a communist, but she refused to answer questions, pleading the fifth. As a result, she was essentially banned from film and television for 12 years, only managing to land occasional minor roles. However, Following her removal from the Blacklist in the 1960s, Grant staged a triumphant comeback, earning 3 Oscar nominations and eventually winning the coveted award for her performance in the 1975 film Shampoo. This victory marked a sweet redemption for the actress, who had suffered professionally for standing up for her principles and refusing to compromise her values. Grant's remarkable comeback served as a testament to her resilience and determination, solidifying her place as a talented and principled Hollywood star. Pete Seeger, the legendary folk singer-songwriter and founding member of the Weavers, was also a political radical who identified as a member of the Communist Party in his youth. In the 1940s and 1950s, his socially conscious stance led to FBI investigations and eventual blacklisting after being listed in Red Channels, a pamphlet targeting suspected communists in the entertainment industry. As a result, the Weavers disbanded in 1952, and Seeger was barred from performing on TV in 1955. He was summoned to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee (HUAC), where he refused to answer questions about his associations, beliefs, and political views, citing their impropriety. This act of defiance led to 10 counts of contempt of Congress and a 1-year prison sentence, although the indictment was later overturned. Dashiell Hammett, the legendary author of hard-boiled detective novels like The Maltese Falcon and The Thin Man, was also an outspoken anti-fascist and Communist Party member. In 1951, as a trustee of the Civil Rights Congress, Hammett was subpoenaed to testify about contributors to the group's bail fund. When he pled the Fifth and refused to name names, he was found in contempt of court and sentenced to 6 months in jail. 2 years later, he was called before Joseph McCarthy's Senate committee, where he again refused to cooperate, leading to his inclusion on the entertainment industry's blacklist. His books were even briefly removed from State Department libraries overseas. After suffering a heart attack in 1955, Hammett withdrew from the literary world, living in obscurity until his death in 1961, despite his literary triumphs. Hammett's courageous stance against McCarthyism and his refusal to betray his values led to his career being cut short, and his later years marked by obscurity and personal struggles.